Would you believe me if I told you that all of these reviews came from the same British hotel chain? Britannia hotels have a reputation for being the dirtiest in the UK, but are they really that bad? I've collected the craziest one-star reviews from 4 of Britannia's dirtiest hotels, and starting today, I'm going to put them to the test. Our journey begins in a hotel so historic that Winston Churchill himself used to stay here. The hotel behind me is so historic, the design is a tribute to Queen Victoria, or at least that's what ChatGPT told me. Sometimes he lies. The place looks incredible on the outside, but looks can be deceiving. Tegan said, "An okay hotel. The rooms smell awful. I can't describe it, but it was a mixture of uncleanliness, mould, and whatever the visitors before us were doing, if you know what I mean. Additional to this, we found a thong stuffed down between the mattress and the headboard, which shouldn't be there. 1 star. That's the understatement of the century. Hotels usually come with a Bible or a hairdryer, not some used underwear. John said, "Disgusting. Do yourself a favour and book somewhere else. This is the worst hotel I have ever stayed at. I'm sure the definition of a window is something you can look out of. The bathroom stunk from the Santiflow unit to the point where we couldn't use it. Room, disgusting. Hotel Fauntage, disgusting. Walkways and corridors, disgusting. Lifts, dated and dirty. Guests, stay away. 1 star. Sounds like there's a lot to discuss here. Somebody seriously needs to enable John's autocorrect." And Irene said, "Worst hotel I have ever stayed in. Avoid. Feces below the loo roll. Big black marks on towels. Dust on all skirting boards and top of sockets. Strange stuff on top of the headboard. Dirty tea tray with tea stains on kettle. 1 star. Jesus Christ, Irene, you don't need a refund, you need a therapist." Irene's made it sound like I'm about to walk into a crime scene rather than a hotel room. Let's go check in and investigate. This hotel lobby smelled like your grandmother's cardigan. The smell was not only overwhelming but concerning, but the staff seemed cheerful, so at least that's one redeeming factor. And the lift up to the room felt like it was one mistake away from final destination. So this is the first of 4 of the UK's dirtiest hotels, and I've already made quite a few discoveries. Let me give you the room tour. Upon entry, it appears like there's nothing wrong with this hotel room, but when you look closer, some alarm bells start to go off, somebody's name written in dirt on the window, blood-stained curtains, stains on the bed sheets, damage all over the furniture, dust in the corners, some mysterious liquid splash up the wall, and a concerning red stain on the carpet. These are just some of my alarming initial discoveries, but the dog doesn't seem bothered. They even gave her this little sign. She loves it. So later tonight, I'm going to do a cleanliness investigation, and I've got a list of tools to help me do so. My evidence camera. This is completely unnecessary, but I felt like I'd feel like a detective if I had like proper photos of walls. My night vision camera. It doesn't actually have night vision, but I'm going to add it in the edit, so I feel like I'm one of those like cool detectives that do like poltergeist stuff. And finally, the black light. Not quite sure why it's called a black light. It's actually a blue light, but this thing will show up any marks, stains and germs that can't be seen to the naked eye. So tonight I'm going to turn the lights off and see how terrifying this room actually is. But first, let's bust some of these reviews. So Tegan's first complaint was that there's an awful smell, and I have to say, the very first thing I noticed when I walked through the front door is the smell of this place. I'm going to say that one is valid. So Tegan's second complaint was that there's mould in her room, and as you can see above me, that one is also valid. Tegan's final complaint was that she found a thong stuffed behind the mattress. As far as I can see, there's no thong behind the mattress. So that is invalid. Tegan's review is confirmed. Just to clarify, by the way, my girlfriend and dog are staying with me this entire trip. That is not my thong. So John's first complaint was that this place has dirty windows, and John could not be more correct. Valid. So John also complained that John couldn't sit on the John because the bathroom was too smelly, and I think he might be correct. Valid. John's third complaint was that the hotel had a dirty front. So let's go and investigate. I think that one might be valid. Again. John's fourth complaint was that the corridor is dirty, and I mean, there's chipped paint there, there's some sort of electrical box there. I think he's probably valid on that one too. So John's final complaint is that the lift was dirty, and here's some footage I took of the lift earlier, which makes the legitimacy of John's review confirmed. So Irene's first complaint was that she found human feces on the bathroom floor. That is invalid, and unless I have an accident later, it will remain invalid. So me and my assistant here have inspected the towels, and as far as I can see, there are no black marks on any of them. Invalid. Her third complaint is that there's dust on the skirting boards and sockets. Later, I'm doing a cleanliness investigation where I'll deep dive on the dust on the skirting boards and the sockets. So for now, this one is on hold. The complaints continue from Irene with marks on the headboard, and in this case, she's actually valid. And Irene's final complaint was that she had a dirty kettle and tea tray. And as far as I can see, they look fine to me, which means Irene is busted. It's time for the bonus review. Avoid at all costs. I rarely write negative reviews, but this was honestly the worst hotel experience myself and my family have ever had. The lounge was filthy, the hallways were dirty, and there were loose, dirty dogs roaming around the property. 1 star. So his complaint is that there are dirty dogs roaming the halls, and if it's the type of dirty dogs I'm thinking of, it could be a good evening. So tonight, we're doing our very first cleanliness investigation. But to do so, we need to wait for it to go dark, so let's go and explore the local town. I know it's early days, but I think it's crazy that this YouTube channel has already taken me to places that I would never normally be. It's a random Wednesday and I'm in this beautiful seaside town on the northeast of England. I would never be here normally. But let's not get distracted. We need to go back to the hotel and do a cleanliness investigation. I thought that would be really dramatic, so I'm going to continue doing that for the rest of the video. If it annoys you, I'm sorry. We begin the cleanliness investigation with a simple dust test. We take a few sheets of toilet paper. For the sake of Irene, we're going to run it across the skirting boards. That is not the result this hotel would have wanted. First of all, that does confirm Irene's complaint. We're going to have a look at the top of the wardrobe, which is usually the place everyone forgets to clean. Do you know what? Not too bad. Weirdly, they've dusted the top of the wardrobe more than they've dusted the skirting boards. What's that about? So Irene also complained about dust on light switches and sockets. So for the sake of testing her review thoroughly, we'll give those a test. Absolutely clean. She's wrong. Part 2 of a cleanliness investigation, we must check the bottom of the mattress. This is in case it's been stained and they flipped it to hide the evidence. Help! You're not helping. It doesn't look the cleanest mattress in the world, I'll be honest, but I've seen worse. Blue light time. So the carpet's showing a few marks, but nothing major. Toilet, not too bad, although there is a questionable stain on the front, and there's a questionable stain on the top of the toilet as well. And the shower looks pretty clean to me. Not too bad. Ooh, hold on a minute. We've just identified some mystery stains that look like some kind of bodily fluid. I would assume that that bodily fluid came out of somebody's mouth based on the colour of it. I would hope that it came out of somebody's mouth, but you never know in a hotel. The thing is with this light, every time I see Gordon Ramsay use it, he finds all sorts of mysterious substances. This is supposed to be the dirtiest hotel in England, and to me, it looks alright. Either Gordon Ramsay's lied to me, which I refuse to believe, or I should have ordered a better torch. And that concludes the cleanliness investigation. We're going to chill out for a bit, get some sleep. In the morning, we're heading to the next hotel. I didn't actually sleep that badly considering this bed is made of iron and the pillows are made of an anvil. The mattress has more veins in it than the top of a Mars bar. So the fact that I slept is a miracle, but I did sleep. We need to go to the next hotel. Okay, let's give my final review on this hotel. The building itself is beautiful. Parts of it look like it's straight out of the Titanic. But like the Titanic, parts of it also look like they've sank. With a bit of funding, time, care and attention, I think this place has the potential to be something special again. And to be honest, I think this might be a running theme throughout these hotels, although they really do need to sort out the smell. If Churchill smelt this, we'd have lost World War II because he'd be too distracted. Let's go check out the next one. The hotel behind me was built in 1894 and was once turned into a hospital, which is nice to know that it was once clean. Some of the TripAdvisor reviews are horrific. One looks a bit like a German Shepherd has chewed through the bathroom door. So I'm a little bit concerned going into this. However, from the outside, it looks ridiculously nice. Let's see what the reviews have to say. Abandon all hope to ye who enter here, arr. I assume that's what she sounds like. She typed it like she's a pirate, so we're gonna go with it. The room was dirty. The floor needed a hoover. The chair had a cigarette burn on the back of it, and the furniture was old, worn, faded, and tired. There was a musty smell, and the switches were from the 70s in a very attractive, dirty beige colour. 1 star. Okay, so I imagine she wasn't fond of the colour of the light switches. It'd be a bit of a weird way to end the review otherwise. Disgusting hotel. Avoid at all costs. Rooms are dirty. Had to ask for new bed sheets on arrival because they were stained. 8 hours later, there were still no bed sheets. Do not eat here unless you're fond of truly awful cuisine. If you do accidentally book here, don't complain, as the manager and his team are less than useless. 0 stars. I'm not completely convinced that it took David 8 hours to get new bed sheets. That seems like a bit of a stretch. 1 hour, maybe 2, but 8. 8. They would have turned up in the middle of the night. It's a no from me. Do not stay here. Stay away. Best thing about hotel is walking back out the door. Mouldy bathroom with sharp edges where child cut himself. And no manager. Appalling experience and never go again. 1 star. Okay, Jessica's gone full Simon Cowell. I don't know if she means that her child cut themselves or if a previous child had cut themselves, but we've got a lot of reviews at this hotel that need busting. And by the looks of the outside, surely some of these people are lying. Let's go check in. Entering this hotel, I was in shock at how fancy it was. It doesn't smell, it doesn't look dirty, the staff was super helpful, but the place is like a maze. I must have got 1,000 steps in just trying to get to my room. There's no way this is the room everyone's been talking about. This hotel is ridiculously fancy. You come through the entrance and it looks like you've just walked into the Ritz. I don't know what people are complaining about. The room itself is massive. It's the biggest TV I've ever seen in a hotel room. There's 3 beds. The place looks clean. I guess there's only one thing left to do. It's time for a room tour. This hotel room has 3 beds, one for me, one for my clothes, and one for the ghost that supposedly haunts these hallways. This is my dog. She's not included in the hotel room. She just needs a battery replacement. Ignore her. The room comes with a stunning view of the car park. So if you're somebody who has a passion for watching a Ford Fiesta park, this is the room for you. The bathroom's pretty standard. Toilet, sink, shower, the holy trinity. When you look closer, it's clear to see this room's seen better days. But one thing you can't call this room is dirty. I mean, sure, the wallpaper's peeling a little bit and there's a couple of dents here and there on the furniture, but nothing you don't expect in a room that's been lived in. So on the surface, there's nothing wrong with this hotel room. So somebody here is lying. Is Pippa just being dramatic? Did Jessica really have a mouldy bathroom? Did David's bedsheets take 8 hours to replace? There's only one way to find out. Pippa claimed that the carpets needed hoovering, but they look fine to me. I'm gonna call that one invalid. She also claimed that there were cigarette burns on her chair. I don't see any cigarette burns. Invalid. Her third complaint was that there's old, tired furniture, although it needs a paint job. It looks pretty modern to me. Her final complaint was that the hotel room had a musty smell. Smells fine to me. Consider Pippa busted. Jessica had complaints of a mouldy bathroom. As far as I can see, this bathroom has less mould than mine at home, so that complaint is invalid. She also complained of sharp edges where a child had cut themselves that had blood on them, which leaves me questioning, how tall is her child? Because these are the only edges I can find in the bathroom, and I wouldn't say they're sharp enough to cut yourself on, which makes that complaint invalid. Jessica's third complaint was dirty bed sheets. But these bed sheets look spotless. Invalid. And Jessica's final complaint is that this hotel doesn't even have a manager, but the minute I walked into reception, that was invalid. So Jessica, consider yourself busted. Finally, we have David's review, which started out with claims of a dirty room. I'm sorry to tell you this, David, but this room is spotless. David's next claim was that the bed sheets are dirty, but we've already established that's invalid. Now, he also said he requested new bed sheets and it took them 8 hours to deliver them. I was going to test that, but these bed sheets are literally spotless. So I'm going to bunch those 2 claims together and say that they are invalid. And David's final claim is that this place has awful food. So when I'm done busting reviews, I'm going to order some room service and find out if that one's valid or invalid. But for now, we've got one more review to test. The bonus review. What a complete dump. The room was dirty, including a pint glass left outside of our room door by the previous occupants, and was still there the next day when we left. God forbid we went to the spa, had to pay for the privilege. Sauna and spa pool both turned off, so we went to the steam room, which was beyond filthy. 1 star. Brendan here has had a terrible time at the steam room. Not the type of terrible time you usually get at a steam room, if you know what I mean. So I guess I'm going to the steam room, but first, let's get some room service. So I tried to order room service.
To speak to conference and events, please press 2. To speak to finance, please press 3. You are being transferred to the operator.
Am I though? After all that. The thing is, it's a 7-mile walk to reception. I can't be bothered. So I guess I'm just going to have to say David's review is valid. Congratulations, David. You won. I finally found something that's actually, true, because everything else here is a lie. This place is fine. Lesson here is don't listen to TripAdvisor. Mackie's has been housed. I'm back at the hotel, which means it's time for the cleanliness investigation. So as usual, we start with the dust test. Today we're going to try the top of the wardrobe. Ooh, we have results. There is dirt. It's not exactly make a complaint on TripAdvisor and kick off like a child dirt, but we do have some dust. So for the sake of fairness, we're going to try a spot that should have been dusted and see if there are any results on the table. Looks pretty clean to me. And for the third and final dust test, we're going to try the top of the bed, which should have been dusted, but it's the type of place that maybe someone would forget to dust. Tiniest amount. Not that bad for dust. Top of the wardrobe, worst of the 3. But you kind of expect that because who's checking the top of the wardrobe apart from this freak? For the second test, we're going to have a look under the mattress and see if it's been flipped or stained. We're not looking too bad. I can't see any stains, so a mattress score of, I don't know because my arm's about to drop off, out of 10. And finally, it's time for the UV torch. Ooh, okay, we are picking up quite a lot of spots on the sink. Oh, but if you look at my t-shirt, that's worse. So maybe let's not complain about that. Again, for a toilet, right, it's the place you do your business. You can't expect the toilet to be spotless, but overall, not too bad. And for the final test in the cleanliness investigation, the bed sheets. The actual quilt is spotless, but the worry is what's under the quilt. The pillows seem fine. The dog, it's fine to me. I can't see a single bodily fluid. We're good. And that concludes the cleanliness investigation. It's nice going to bed knowing that your bed sheets are clean. We are going to call it a night, watch some TV, and in the morning, I've got one more review to bust. Say goodnight.
You smell worse than the last hotel.
I slept I can't say I slept well, but I slept. It's not a bad hotel room to sleep in, to be fair. It's just I don't sleep well in new hotels, as we found out last video, which you can watch here. I guess I'm gonna get ready and head to the next hotel. My final review on this hotel. Obviously it's seen better days, and I think maybe it just lacks some funding. But to call it dirty I think is a major exaggeration. It's clearly been cleaned. Maybe I just got lucky and got a room that was well kept. Or maybe, just maybe, the people on TripAdvisor were being slightly dramatic. Let's head to the next hotel. So this hotel behind me is the newest of the 4 hotels in this video, which begs the question, how does it become such a mess in such a short space of time? There are some concerning review photos on TripAdvisor, including one where somebody had some sort of hazard tape in their bathroom. And the first thing I saw when I pulled up today in the car park is someone's used boxers on the floor. So let's take a look at some of these reviews. David said, disgusting, absolutely awful. Found a maggot in the bed. Kettle had mould in when going to make a cup of tea. Makeup on the bathroom mirror. Shower head held on with a towel. When asked for a refund, got ignored. 1 star. Guess who's emailing for a refund even if this hotel room isn't dirty? This guy. Bob said, don't bother. Dirty corridors that look like they hadn't seen a vacuum for several weeks. Room was dated. Hair in bathroom. Toenail on carpet. Mattress was noisy and uncomfortable. 1 star. When I checked booking.com, it didn't even say it came with a pedicure, so that's a bonus. And Lynn said, dirty. Our room, 125, had cobwebs, spiders, dust fluff, and dead flies. Bathroom had black mould, cobwebs, toilet and seat was stained with urine, sink kept blocking up. I slept on one of my own towels and wrapped my pillow in another. It was so dirty. 1 star. Lynn's given us a whole shopping list worth of issues that we need to test today, so let's get inside and investigate. Before even entering this hotel, I immediately noticed how dirty the outside was, but the lobby area looked spotless. Once again, very helpful and friendly staff, but again I was concerned when she told me our room was on floor 1 and the lobby area is floor 3. Does this mean we're underground? This might be the nicest one so far. Room tour. You enter to a fairly standard hotel room, dog not included, with an incredible array of lighting options for some reason. It even comes with its own sofa and mini fridge, although I definitely won't be using that mini fridge. And after requesting that the dog does a carpet test, I can confirm it's pretty clean and the bathroom allows pets. Although one thing I will say is this pillow definitely should have been thrown away. So once again, despite the fact that this hotel has extremely bad reviews, everything seems fine. So I think it might be time to bust some of these reviews. So David's first complaint is that he found a maggot in his bed, and I'm looking at my bed and all I can see is a dog, so that one is invalid. His second complaint was that he found mould in his kettle. Doesn't look great, but I wouldn't say it's mouldy. Invalid. David's third complaint was that he found makeup on his bathroom mirror, but all I can see in my bathroom mirror is this tall, handsome gentleman. Invalid. And David's fourth and final complaint is that when he emailed for a refund, they just ignored him. So I'm going to send them an email now and see if they get back to me by the end of this video. For now, that review is on hold. So for now, let's consider David busted. Bob's first complaint was that the corridors were dirty, and to be honest, I'd actually call that one valid. Well done, Bob. Bob's second complaint that there was hair in the bathroom, but my bathroom looks fine, so maybe Bob is balding and nobody's told him. Invalid. Bob's third complaint was that he found toenails on his carpet, but my carpet looks fine. I'm beginning to think Bob might be lying. Invalid. So with 2 lies and 1 truth, Bob has been busted. And finally, let's deal with Lynn's review, which started out with complaints of cobwebs. And as you can see behind me, that one's valid. She also complained that she found spiders in her room and I can't see any. She claimed that she found dead flies in her room, which wouldn't make sense because if you've got spiders, why would you also have dead flies? Invalid. I don't trust you, Lynn. She complained of mold in the bathroom. It looks fine to me. The door's closing, help! Invalid! Invalid! Then also complained of a urine-stained toilet seat, but the only thing with the stain on it is your reputation after this review, Lynn, because that is invalid. And her final complaint was of a block sink. Invalid. Did we bust Lynn? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Lynn's a liar, isn't she? Yes. So with all those reviews out the way, it's time for the bonus review. Eve said, needs a makeover and a clean. The room had a smell of cigarettes. The wallpaper was coming away. Bathroom, the shower, leaked and soaked the whole bathroom. Pool area was dirty along with the changing rooms, and the pool water was in need to changing. Very cloudy. 1 star. So Eve has made complaints of a dirty pool and changing room. Let's cut to the... I'm back at the room. Pools have been examined, which means it's time for the cleanliness investigation. As usual, we start with a fan favourite, the dust test. I say fan favourite, I don't have any fans yet, this is only my second video, but I'm sure when you do exist, you'll love a dust test. They may have dusted the picture frame, but did they dust the top of the picture frame? That's the question. We're clean again. Should we test the inside of the fridge? No. That's disgusting. I'm not testing that. I'm not going anywhere near that thing. No, I'm not about to propose. I'm about to do the mattress test for part 2 of the cleanliness investigation.
You both checking the mattress?
Looks alright to me. I don't know what she thinks, but looks alright to me. The cleanliness investigation is not a game. This is serious business. What do we have here? What appears to be a very dry wet wipe. Somebody has not done their cleaning properly. It's blue light time. So as usual, we start out with the bathroom. The toilet is absolutely filthy. The whole back of the toilet seat is filthy. There are a couple of stains up the walls, a couple of stains on the sink, but pretty standard stuff. We are looking pretty much clean. And that concludes the cleanliness investigation. Oh, wait, 1 minute, wait. The cleanliness investigation. It's time for bed, but for me, it's actually time to get some editing done. To get videos out as fast as I need to, I'm actually carrying around this audio interface and microphone with me. I'm recording voiceovers in hotel rooms, in the car. I'm hoping that this year is the year that I make it as a YouTuber. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do in my life since I was around 11 years old. If you're enjoying this video so far, I would love for you to come along on the journey. So subscribe and we'll grow this channel together. With that being said, I will see you all in the morning. I slept quite well, actually. For a change. You're right. It's time to go to the next hotel. I'll see you in Liverpool. I'm not going to pretend this is the cleanest or fanciest hotel I've ever stayed in. And some areas of the hotel were a little bit dirty, but the room was almost spotless. So I think this might just be a case of people being dramatic on TripAdvisor. Although, they did ignore my email about a refund. The hotel behind me has 3,000 one-star reviews on TripAdvisor. It's in Liverpool, a city known for the Beatles, the football club, and a man named Purple-Aki. It was opened in 1826 by a man named James, so it must be good. It also has links to the Titanic because a lot of the rich passengers used to stay here on a regular basis. Let's hope it's been cleaned since then. In 2010, it was given a 0-star rating for food hygiene, which I had no idea was even possible. Let's take a look at some of the reviews. Sally said, "Dirty. Easily the dirtiest hotel I have ever stayed in. Husband went to wash his face when we arrived. When he went to reach for the towel on the rail, he immediately noticed blood all down one side. We reported this at reception. Instead of an apology, we were asked numerous questions before being handed clean towels. On waking up the next morning, my husband pointed to the wall at his side of the bed. Blood splatters up the wall. Our white socks were filthy after walking around the room." 1 star. Blood on the towels and the walls. Sally's experience sounds like an episode of CSI, not a hotel stay. Here's what Andrew had to say. "Tempted? Don't be. For God's sake, don't do it, man. The rooms are utterly rank and have barely been cleaned. If you're brave enough to look behind the bed, you'll see decades of accumulated dirt. I've stayed in hostels in third world countries that are better presented than this place. I can look past the chip paint, but the weird stains on the walls and carpets were quite worrying, as is the mould in the bathroom." 1 star. I wouldn't complain, Andrew. That dirt could be linked to the Titanic. It could be worth something. And Judith said, "Complaint. Hotel very dirty. Dead mosquitoes in bed. No clean towels. Very rude staff. Bathroom very old and can't use bath because it all peeled and sharp to sit in. Overall, the hotel is disgusting. Carpets full of dirt and not hoovered." 1 star. Sounds like I am taking a bath tonight. Let's go check in. My immediate first impressions as I came through the door of this hotel was it feels really fancy. But alarm bells started to go off when I got to the desk, and the first thing I found was a couple complaining that their room smelt and they wanted to change rooms. But then something really embarrassing happened. I tried to film the check-in secretly, not realising that the flash was turned on my camera. The hotel staff guy looked at me funny, and now I'm never going to Liverpool again, so I've got questions about this place. To say this hotel room had seen better days would be a massive understatement. Cracks on the walls, paint coming off, suspicious dark spots on the ceiling, a dusty Victorian fireplace, unusual stains, missing handles that are there but hanging off, gaps in the drawers, weird dark spots on the mirror, and weirdly the most modern bathroom in this entire video. Could they not have spent just a little bit more money and done the rest of the room as well? So on the surface you can tell this place used to be really nice, but they just haven't updated it in centuries. Some of the furniture in the cupboards look like they're genuinely original, and if they are, that means they're more than 200 years old. So with that in mind, I have a feeling some of these reviews might be legit. Let's test them. So we start with Sally, who claims she found blood on her towels, and they look pretty clean to me. Invalid. Sally's second claim is that she found blood splatters up the wall, although as you can see there are marks on the wall. It's not blood. Invalid. And her third and final complaint was that her white socks were dirty because of the floors. I've got my very own pack of fresh white socks to test that review. We'll check back in after and see if they're dirty. Let's move on to Andrew's review, who claimed there was decades of dirt behind the bed. My hand's clean. Andrew might be a liar. His second complaint was that there was chipped paint in the room. As you can see, that one is actually valid. His next complaint was that he had mould in the bathroom, but this bathroom is the best bathroom we've had in any of these hotels so far. Would you say that one's invalid? I think that one's invalid.
Andrew's a liar.
His next complaint was of weird stains on the carpet. invalid. And the walls, valid. So with 2 out of 4 valid statements, Andrew is busted, kind of, semi-busted. Judith complained that she found a dead mosquito in her bed. Not in this one. Invalid. So Judith also said she didn't have clean towels. What do you call these, Judith? What do you call these? I call them clean towels. You're invalid. Her next complaint was that she couldn't take a bath because the bathtub was peeling. I can't take a bath because I don't have one. I guess that's valid. Her final complaint was of dirty carpets, and to be honest, based on the smell in here, she's probably correct. But there's only one way to find out. Let's do the sock test. These reviews have officially been busted. It's time for a bonus review. And I think I might have found the culprit. Terrible. My experience included multiple unacceptable issues across hygiene, maintenance, staff behaviour, and severe fire safety non-compliance. Dog feces were found on the first floor carpets in multiple places. A member of our party stepped in it and tracked it to their room. Although it was cleaned eventually, the hotel did not offer a room change until requested. 1 star. Now, this might genuinely be the most outrageous review in this entire video. She's claiming that her friend stepped in dog feces in the hallway of the hotel. That doesn't make any sense. How would you not see it? How would you not see that there's a turd in the middle of the hallway of the hotel? It's a hall. It's not like a street. It's a hallway. I think she's lying, but I guess we're gonna go find out. I can't see any dog feces in the halls. That one's invalid. After busting some reviews, we had a quick walk around the hotel, and I had this overwhelming feeling that this place should be something special, and you can tell it used to be something special. I felt kind of sad just walking around the place. The architecture is still incredible, and you can tell that back in the day this place really would have been the spot for people to go to, but it really does feel like a shell of its former self. There's so much history in these halls. Frank Sinatra, Bob Dylan, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Bing Crosby and Charles Dickens, those are just some of the people that used to stay here. It's a shame to see it slowly fall into disarray. We are back at the hotel, and you know what that means? That means it's time for the final cleanliness investigation. So as usual, we start out with a simple dust test, and today we have some Victorian wardrobes that need analysing. Now, this thing genuinely creeps me out. These are supposed to pull out, but it's like they've been made by your uncle who claims he's a carpenter but has no experience. They don't come further than about that far. The best chance of finding dust here is going to probably be the top one because people can't see it. Tell you what, we're doing all right. For the second stage of the dust test, we're going to have a look at this fireplace, which looks absolutely rank, by the way. I feel weird even having my head close to this. What's been burnt in here? It's actually cleaner than some of the hotel rooms we've already stayed at, which is insane because that's a 200-year-old fireplace. I just feel like I could dust anywhere in this room and get a clean sheet. Time for a mattress test. So there's no rubbish under here like yesterday. It's a bit of a funny colour, mine. It looks a bit like a giant slab of chocolate brownie that's had a sheet put over it. I'll give him a pass on that one. Time for the blue light. Any activity gone on these chairs? Yeah, to me that just looks like dust particles. It doesn't look like bodily fluids of any kind. Stains on the carpet there and over there. I can only assume that Leonardo DiCaprio threw up on the carpet before he boarded the Titanic. Who knows? That looks like some sort of animal print. Do you think there's been a bear attack in here or something? There are some questionable stains on the wall. I don't know if somebody's just got a bit too excited or what. The blue light has actually flashed up some cobwebs for a change. This room has not been cleaned very well at all by the looks of it. Thankfully, by the looks of it, the bed sheets are clean, so at least I can sleep tonight in peace. It's time to settle down for bed. Although this room isn't the dirtiest room I've ever seen in the world, one thing I will say is this mattress is incredibly uncomfortable. So don't be shocked in the morning if I look like a I never want to sleep in this place again. If there's one thing I've learned from this trip, it's that yes, these hotels are dirty, but they're not run by villains. They're cheap hotels, usually underfunded, sometimes understaffed. The reviews might be real, but so are the people working here. So while I wouldn't recommend staying at a lot of these hotels, I do think that we should remember that there's more going on here than just mouldy bathrooms and dirty hallways. At the time of recording this, I've just hit 10,000 subscribers. That is literally mind-blowing. It's the only thing I've ever dreamed of. I cannot thank every single one of you enough, but if you are someone who hasn't subscribed yet and you enjoyed this video, if you could subscribe now, that would be the best thing in the world. And if you do, I'll see you again in 2 weeks.